Happy Saturday. Couldn't get around to making my video until this evening. Had to teach quite a bit today and just had a bunch of stuff going on. Going to get some groceries right now. All right, so it's gonna take 3 days of eating no sugar, no flour of any type, and no candies, anything like that. Basically watching your carbohydrates like a hawk. I've never had any really difficult times with, some people say that the apples are a problem. I've never had a problem with the apples. I don't know if it's, you know, maybe the thermic effect of food with apples or whatever, but I could eat apples all day long and I never put on weight back in 2013. So I usually try and get the majority of my energy through the apples. I mean, it just seems to be what's best for me. It may not work like that for everybody, but you know, I can eat apples before I work out. They don't, you know, they don't zap my energy or anything like that. I mean, I don't necessarily feel like I have more energy. I think the best that I feel when I work out is fasted. Even with pre-workout, I don't tend to feel better having pre-workout or anything before I work out. So, you know, that's something that you're gonna have to deal with on your own. But those first 3 days, you're basically gonna be going through your carbohydrate stores that are in your body. Now, through those 3 days, you know, we as endomorphs, you always have to watch our caloric intake. You know, just because you're not eating those foods that are harmful for us, that make us pack on fat quicker or raise our insulin levels, you still have to watch your calories. You just can't go crazy on, you know, the other foods, the beans, the legumes, you know, brown rice. You still have to watch those carbohydrates as well. You know, I don't recommend personally, you know, yeah, you have the, you know, I don't think you have to be all crazy counting the fruit carbs, but in all reality, I don't think you should be going over 200 a day. 200 a day is pretty high, and that's eating the right ones, you know, mainly fruits, vegetables, you know, non-starchy vegetables. If you're going to have, you know, I like to have the russet potatoes because I don't like paying the money for sweet potatoes. Plus, I like russet potatoes more. I don't eat as many of them, but they recommend, it is recommended that endomorphs eat the sweet potato instead. I just don't care for sweet potatoes. You know, it is recommended that you eat the brown rice instead of white rice. I don't really like brown rice. If I, you know, if I'm gonna go for something that's more carbohydrate, it's probably gonna be quinoa. Quinoa is safe for the for us endomorphs, but even then, you know, you have to watch the volume, and you also have to time those carbohydrates the correct way, even over those 3 days. You know, mainly in the AM hours, unless you're fasting. But if you're fasting, then your carbohydrates need to be your earlier meals. That's when you need to be taking in the majority of carbs, or post-workout. If you really want to get the fat burning going and you're coming off of a bad eating habits, I recommend doing 2 walks a day during those first 3 days as well. Get up, do a 45-minute hour walk in the morning. After your last meal, knock out another 45-minute hour walk. That'll get you going and get you burning fat much quicker, in addition to your body cleaning out all of the carbohydrate stores that are left behind from from eating the negative foods. There's nothing easy about this, folks. Being an endomorph sucks. That's just the truth. I mean, the longer I do this, the more crash diets I've done, the more that I learn, the more that I, you know, hone my skills and just look at this whole thing from a metabolic perspective. Life as an endomorph sucks. You can't have any fun foods. If you do, it has to be really, really like tightly monitored, like so ridiculously crazy. I recommend, you know, I'm gonna share what I'm doing, but I honestly recommend, you know, you have to have these little like cheat things. But I mean, you know, if it's gonna be something like you know, you want some candy bar, it can't be anything more than one of those little, like, you know, the tiny little bite-sized candy bars. I mean, you could probably have one of those. Mike Matthews, even him, he's not even an endomorph. He says that whenever he has any cheap foods like chocolate or anything like that, it's like 100 calories. I would say that if you're an endomorph, you don't want to be taking in anything more than like 50 calories of like a candy product or anything like that, especially like the fat. We have to watch that saturated fat. It's probably not good to be eating chocolate. Chocolate's great. Yes, you can eat like a little bit and not, you know, go crazy over your calories, but the way it affects our metabolism is just detrimental to fat loss. It can send our fat loss totally out of control for the entire day. You know, you don't want to work your butt off the entire day, staying away from all of these foods, sacrificing, you know, eating constantly, you know, to keep your body burning your fat stores rather than the food that you're taking in, and then totally throw it all away over a little piece of candy. It's just not worth it. But candy isn't for endomorphs, and, you know, I recommend just constantly, because I'm not going to cover everything in these videos, I recommend constantly looking at, you know, researching foods that are best for endomorphs, reading everything you can, getting your hands on all the information, all the literature that you can, because this is a constant battle. It is a constant grind, and you need to find as many foods that work well with your system, that are going to keep it interesting and keep you you know, satisfied, not only as far as being full, but also the taste and the quality of the meals that you're having. But it's gonna take work. Happy Saturday.